Today, it's the death that rocked the TMNT series. When we last left off, the Turtles had returned to New York, where they were split up as to what to do: stop Shredder or stop General Krang. But one turtle, Donatello, decided why not work off of the idea, the enemy of my enemy is my ally. He reached out to Shredder behind his brothers' backs, and this can only end positively. This is Comicstorian, where I get to read you comic books dramatically. I take the bare bones plot, turn it into an audio drama, and I have a hell of a fun time doing it. I leave out enough so that you can start your own incredible collection, and I recommend checking out a sponsor named Shortboxed to help you with that. Now, let's get into IDW's TMNT Volume 11. The Technodrome begins to rumble, energy coursing through it as the test begins. The weapon on the top opens up and a powerful laser blast fires into the beach, while inside of the control center, Krang watches as the energy beam fires. "Beautiful. So beautiful," he whispers. At the base of the Foot Clan, Oroku Saki moves through his gardens, speaking with Donatello, who is talking to him through the metalhead robot. "If what you say is true, then we have very little time to act," the Ninja Master informs him, and Metalhead moves forward, but Shredder's elite guards stop him with a clank of their weapons. Shredder smiles, informing Donnie that he still doesn't trust him. But once again, Donatello explains, "I don't think of it as betraying my family. I'm trying to save the world," he says, and Shredder nods as he leans down to inspect the flowers. "Indeed, though I wonder what Hamato Yoshi would say if he were to discover that you were collaborating with his sworn enemy." He ponders, and Donnie explains once more that he needs to stop Krang. And in order to do that, he's going to need Shredder's army. He tells Shredder the plan: how he can get the Foot Clan onto Burnow Island with the teleporter, which will allow them to stop Krang quietly. That he has a spy inside of Krang's forces that will help them do that. "And do you trust your spy?" Shredder asks. "Yes, with the fate of the entire world." Donnie explains, and with these final words, Metalhead transforms into mobile mode and drives away. "I'll be in touch soon to hammer out the final details," Donnie says as he leaves. He stands up from the controls in Harold's lab as his friend calls him over. "If you're done screwing around my robot, I'd like to run a final test on your teleporter." The scientist snaps. Meanwhile, at Hobbs' warehouse, the mutant army is preparing for an attack, with Leo ordering them into 2 assault squads. "Move out!" Herman shouts, and the first squad moves forward with Mondo pushing up and blowing the lock off the door with his skateboard gun. Slash runs forward, slamming through the door, allowing the Turtles in and the second squad to push up. Arrows fly through the air, but Slash protects his team with the thick shell. The second squad moves through the next door, with the Turtles quickly dodging through another set of traps. A hidden machine gun opening fire on them, but Leo orders Mikey to throw down some smoke. The Turtles charge through the swirling smoke, taking out the machine guns with their weapons. "Now that's what I'm talking about!" Hobbs shouts, proud of the work that the teams have been doing. "Yes, the improvement that we have seen recently is quite impressive." Splinter agrees, and Hobbs checks his gear, aware that the Foot won't be using rubber bullets or blunt arrows, but he believes that they are ready for the assault. And Leo asks to speak with Splinter in a private family meeting first. "Wait, I thought we were all family now," Hobbs asks, but Raph looks over his shoulder. "Nah, flea biter, we're all just mutants here. Family's a whole different kind of thing," he tells him. Meanwhile, over at April O'Neil's family's antique store, April and Casey are talking, with April being proud of Casey for helping her family around the shop. He waves her off, explaining that he's been enjoying the work and that he's glad that they have taken him in. But April has to get to class, telling Casey that she has seen Dr. Miller around campus, the one that sided with the Foot against them and used the magic book. She thinks that he might know something and plans to confront him. So after a quick goodbye kiss, she heads out the door. Casey smiles as he watches her go, looking around the shop, seeing as he has more work to do. "All right, Jones, the maintenance stuff is done for the day," he says to himself as he reaches beneath the counter, pulling out a mask and a bag of sports weapons. "Time for a little site security." Meanwhile, back at the lab, Donnie pops back through the portal with Harold looking at him in shock. "So?" the scientist finally asks. "I brought you a souvenir, and it's raining in Paris." "We did it, Harold!" Donnie says, handing Harold a statue of the Eiffel Tower and taking off his soaking hat. Harold tries to hide his happiness, pointing out that they need to make minor adjustments, but that's when Donnie heads out the door. He can't help but smile and poke at the Eiffel Tower. Meanwhile, back at the Foot Clan headquarters, Shredder is sitting upon his throne, commanding his soldiers to prepare for the attack. ordering the main assault to be led by himself, Bludgeoned, and Kuyo, while Karai stands back and guards the fortress. As for Bebop and Rocksteady, I have a special mission for them to attend to, he says before dismissing everyone. And as the others file out of the room, Karai steps up to her grandfather, questioning whether it is wise to ally themselves with the Turtles. His sudden willingness to work with you does not ring true to me, she says, and Shredder nods. As it should not, granddaughter. I believe that we are simply the enemy of the Turtles at the moment. But he explains that he is merely using this to his own advantage as well. Meanwhile, back at Burnow Island, Honeycutt is speaking with Stockman, and the two of them are scheming about how they can stop Krang, with Stockman more interested in saving himself. While he isn't sure if he can fully trust Stockman, Honeycutt admits that he has no choice and must explain to him the plan. You must promise me your utmost cooperation and confidentiality. Our very existence depends on it, Honeycutt says, and Stockman nods. And my very existence is of the utmost importance to me. You have my word, he says as he reaches out, shaking the robot's hand. Down on the beach, Krang now slides across the shore, able to breathe freely without the aid of his armor. He's giddy, speaking to his father, explaining that he has now created a new Ultra Minion. So beautiful, he whispers as his armor lifts him into the air and he commands the command center. We will go live tomorrow, he shouts with happiness. Back at Hobbs' warehouse, the mutant army is preparing for their attack on Shredder, but the Turtles step forward, explaining that they won't be going with them. Not going? What the hell are you talking about, Turtles? Hobbs snaps. You heard him, Furball. We got other things we gotta handle. Raph snaps back, and Splinter steps in, explaining that Hobb has no need to worry, that Splinter will fulfill his agreement and go with the assault team. But as my sons have already said, their mission is somewhere else this day, he says, and the brothers step aside with Splinter, telling him how they're worried about him going alone with Hobbs. It is wise to be concerned. We have many dangers yet in front of us, but we have all prepared diligently for this, and your brother's plan is not only brilliant, but noble as well, Splinter says, putting his paw on Leo. Thank you, Father. And the brothers bow to their master and father before walking out of the room. Hobbs steps up to Splinter, unhappy with this turn of events. You realize this little romp's gonna be a hell of a lot harder without their help, he hisses. You would be correct, old Hobb, if it were true that my sons are no longer helping us, Splinter says sagely. Back at Burnow Island, Krang is already celebrating the success of the Technodrome and what it will do to Earth. The fact that it will terraform the entire planet and kill all living beings. But Stockman interrupts him with Honeycutt by his side. We need to have a word with you, Will. Fugitoid. He's listening. Tell him. Stockman tells him, motioning Honeycutt forward, and the robot stammers for a moment before revealing his secret to Krang. I have intelligence stating that Shredder and the Foot Clan are preparing to attack today. What did you say? Krang shouts, anger welling up within him as he grabs Honeycutt by the throat. And you know how! He snaps, but Honeycutt won't tell him, merely stating that he has spies on the outside. But Stockman steps forward, reminding Krang that they can't activate the Technodrome without Fugitoid. And my expertise will be useless if Shredder isn't stopped! Honeycutt stammers, and Krang releases the robot, turning to Captain Trag and ordering him to prepare his troops for the assault. But that's when Stockman steps up, informing Krang that Shredder isn't the only issue, and Honeycutt turns to him in surprise. Surprised that Stockman has betrayed him so quickly. Stockman merely smiles and informs Krang that the mutant turtles are also going to be with Shredder during that assault. Shredder and those damned turtles together? How convenient. How does the Earth saying go? 2 birds, 1 stone, Krang says, his tentacles swaying as he ponders the future. And he turns to his guards, ordering them to imprison Stockman and Honeycutt until the battle is over. Meanwhile, the 3 brothers have arrived at Harold's lab, greeting Donnie and learning that Harold is in a safe location piloting Metalhead so that he can help. I was starting to worry that you guys weren't gonna make it, Donnie tells them, asking how things went with Splinter and Hobb. Hobb definitely wasn't happy, but he'll live, Leo tells him, and Donnie steps up to the teleporter controls, explaining to his brothers that he can't go with them. He needs to stay behind and run the operation. After everything you did to make this happen? Leo asks, and the others try to argue, but Harold interrupts them and explains that it is time for them to leave. The teleporter is activated, and the 3 brothers move towards it, but Donnie stops them. Just one thing I want you all to know. I really love you guys, he says, and they all nod. Us too, bro, Leo says as they all disappear, and Donnie watches the spot where they were. Why didn't you tell them? Harold asks, but Donnie shakes his head. We've got enough to worry about, Harold, he says quietly. But that's when there's a knock at the lab door and Metalhead opens it up, revealing Shredder and his foot soldiers. Shredder moves through the lab, admiring the work, stopping in front of the screen with Harold. questioning who is he. Just someone who's gonna help me get you to Burnow Island. Are you ready? Donnie asks as he steps up to the controls and Shredder nods. I am. And as per our agreement, I'm leaving behind some of my party to ensure that there will be no treachery on your part while we are away. He says, motioning to Bebop and Rocksteady. That's right, dweeb. We got us a special mission. Rocksteady chuckles and Donnie activates the portal, allowing Shredder's forces to step through. As Shredder moves to join them, he looks back at Donnie. Remember Donatello. Betrayal is death. He warns and disappears. Ah! Death! Bebop laughs. But meanwhile, earlier, Splinter meets in private with his sons, with Leo explaining the real plan to his father. That Donatello has set up the whole thing so that while Hob and his army are assaulting the defenseless Foot Clan base, Shredder and his army will be attacking Burnow Island, with Krang meeting them and hopefully defeating each other. Meanwhile, Donnie will teleport the turtles in earlier and allow them to take out the Technodrome while everyone is distracted. This is unexpected, Splinter says, surprised by the plan. I have no words. Why didn't you tell me about this sooner? He asks, and the brothers look sheepishly as they explain that Splinter has been so focused on this war with Shredder that they didn't want to include him and risk everything. You need not apologize. I have been mistaken about many things, while my children, my students, have proceeded with forethought and careful planning. He says, admitting his personal feelings for Oroku Saki has blinded him. There is wisdom and maturity in your plan, Leonardo. I am truly impressed. He says, but now we go back to the current day, with Shredder amassing his forces on Burnow Island. But a blast comes out of the shadows, dropping one of his guards. Welcome to Burnow Island, Krang says with a smile, his army behind him. Annihilate them! He shouts to his troops. Foot attack! Shredder shouts as he raises his sword, and the two armies rush at each other, meeting in battle, fought with blades and guns. Amidst the chaos, Krang orders his two captains with him. Our forces can finish the others. We have unfinished business that we must attend to, he says as the three of them stalk towards Shredder, Bludgeon, and Kuyo. Indeed we do, Shredder snaps, but meanwhile, over on a nearby hill, the turtles are watching the two factions meet in battle. Where the hell's the Fugitoid? Raph hisses to his brothers and Leo shakes his head. There's no telling how long Krang and Shredder will keep each other busy. We've got to get moving. We know where we need to go. We'll just have to figure out the rest when we get there. He looks over his shoulder at the Technodrome nearby. Below them, Krang and Shredder have met in battle, with the alien launching a barrage of attacks on the Ninja Master. But Shredder dodges, swinging his sword for a killing blow. But it's Krang's blade that cuts through Shredder's sword, bringing a look of surprise from the Master of the Foot. You and your perversions of nature were doomed as soon as you stepped foot on my island! Krang laughs as he opens fire on Shredder, but the ninja leaps out of the way, snagging an axe off of the ground as he slams it into the alien's chest piece, cracking the glass. Krang lashes out, backhanding Shredder. You were betrayed, fool! And now you will die! He laughs as he stands over the downed Shredder. Back over in their prison cell, Stockman asks Honeycutt if he actually believes that Shredder and Krang will kill each other. If they do, then we'll be in even worse trouble than we already are. Honeycutt sighs, and the robot looks at Stockman, questioning how the scientist can be so calm. But Stockman just smiles. My plan is proceeding exactly as designed, he says with a smile, standing up, revealing that he has been planning to stop Krang the entire time. He tells Honeycutt that he used one of his flyborgs to gain access to the schematics for the Technodrome, and he developed a malware that'll give him complete control. Once the Technodrome is activated, my malware will initiate, accessing the core overrides, and I will be charged in short order, he says, and Honeycutt looks at him for a moment before pointing out that in the time that takes, several thousand people will die. Stockman shrugs. An acceptable outcome if it means I possess the most powerful weapon on the planet. Honeycutt refuses to allow him to do this, his body shifting and taking the appearance of one of the other lab techs, and he bangs on the door, trying to get the guards' attention. Alerted by the noise, the guards come rushing in, but Stockman refuses to be defeated, tapping a button on his watch. If you think you have the advantage, then your circuits are definitely corroded, he says as his Mousers flood into the room, shocking the guards and Honeycutt and bringing them all to the floor. Back at the Foot Clan's headquarters, though, a wall suddenly explodes inward as Karai and Arnold are surprised, and the smoke clears with the mutant army standing ready to fight. Knock, knock! Anybody home? Hob asks with a vicious sneer. Repel the intruders! Karai shouts, and the Foot Ninjas surge forward, but they're immediately met by the firepower of the mutant army. Come on, mutants! Time to show me what we are. Hobbs says with a laugh as he opens fire, Slash rushing forward, taking a punch from Arnold Jones that seems to have little effect, the big snapping turtle picking up Jones and throwing him through a wall. Mondo meets in battle with Karai, joking as he launches his attack, but she kicks the board out from underneath him, knocking him to the floor. He looks up in fear as she readies her sword for a strike, but the blade merely connects with Splinter's sword. Go, Mondo, help the others, I have this, he says as he backs away, waving the gecko off. So, rats, you finally decided to crawl out of the hole that you've been hiding in? But what about your filthy turtles? Karai asks, and the two leap at each other, their blades clashing as they leap in and away, a deadly dance of blades. Your grandfather's time is past, Karai. Today's doom belongs to him, but understand, I do not believe that you deserve the same fate. Meanwhile, on the outskirts, Hob watches with glee, glad that the Foot Clan is distracted, and he slips away, going upstairs, finding Shredder's vial of ooze left in the lab. Absolutely perfect. No more hybrid mutts for you chumps, he says as he picks up the glowing vial, rushing back downstairs and ordering his army to fall back. But Master Splinter, we just can't leave him. Slash growls, but Hob points out that the rat changed the plan originally. Now Hobbs is just changing it again. Let's go! Now! He tells them, leading the others out of the hole that they blew into the wall. Back over at the Technodrome, the turtles are sneaking through the command center with a guard around the corner. The guard opens fire, but Mikey is there, quickly knocking them out with his nunchucks. Good job, Mikey. Hope you tanked him before anyone else heard. Raph whispers, but a voice calls out from around the corner. Unfortunately for all of us, he did not, Turtles, though I appreciate you removing the guards for me. I have important work to finish after all, Stockman says as he comes around the corner, surrounded by an army of Flyborgs and Mousers. The turtles are shocked as Stockman orders his army to attack. Back outside, Krang slams his fist into Shredder again, but the Ninja Master continues to get back to his feet. You still do not fall! I am impressed, Krang says with a nod, but Shredder spits out a glob of blood on the dirt. Save your praise, demon. If I am to die, I will do so standing. He says, coughing. Krang readies his weapon, prepared to win the fight, but the radio crackles, warning him of an issue in the command building. He turns, running away, ordering his soldiers to finish the fight. Back in the command building, Stockman is working at the controls as the turtles fight his Flyborgs in the background. He initiates the activation controls of the Technodrome, but he's interrupted as the door slams open to reveal Krang. Out of my way, insect! Krang shouts as he stomps forward, slamming his fist into Stockman, knocking him down. He quickly scrubs away Stockman's malware, laughing at the scientist's simple attempt to take control of his technology. And then he hits the button, activating the Technodrome once again, preparing to terraform the planet. The beam fires into the air, and on the beach, Bludgeon and Kuyo stand with their master. If we die, we die, Kuyo promises him, but Shredder spits laughter, and he hits a button on his comms. Not only you, my loyal soldiers. Bebop, Rocksteady, this is Shredder. Killed the turtle. He coughs. Back in the command center, the turtles are still fighting against the Flyborgs. Forget Krang. Just get to the Fugitoid. We need his help. Leo shouts as he slashes through another fly. Raph and Mikey leap over the flies, trying to get to the robot. Stockman finally comes to, shocked by what is going on. Oh, this will not do. I will not have my plans spoiled, he whispers, hitting another button on his watch, causing one of the Flyborgs to rush towards him, grabbing Stockman by the soldiers, flying him away. The turtles have finally knocked the Mousers away, freeing Honeycutt. Don't thank us yet, Honeycutt. This isn't over. They all turn back to Krang, with Honeycutt nodding, explaining that he can disable the Technodrome, but he's gonna need help. We must divert General Krang, he says, and Leo nods as he gathers his brothers. You heard him, guys. Attack! He shouts, and the turtles leap at the alien, but he whirls around, firing his wrist launchers. But back over in the lab, Donnie leaps over another attack from Rocksteady. You really thought you could trick us? I thought you were supposed to be the smart one. Bebop laughs, and Harold is on the screen shouting for Donnie to run. But the turtle leaps into the air, smacking Bebop across the face with his staff, and Rocksteady hits him with his sledgehammer, knocking Donnie into the wall. Donnie tries to struggle to his feet, but Bebop lifts him into the air, prepared to kill him. And that's when a blast from Metalhead skims his body. Donnie, I told you to run! Go! I'll use Metalhead to keep them at bay! Harold shouts, standing between Donnie and the mutants. But Rocksteady throws his hammer, knocking the robot away. Donnie tries to run, but Bebop throws a monitor at him, knocking him to the ground. They rain blows upon Donatello, keeping him on the floor. And Rocksteady comes walking over, picking up his hammer. And he brings it down with a sickening crunch. Whoa, you split him in half, man. Bebop laughs as he stands up. Yeah, did you expect them to look like that underneath there? Rocksteady asks as blood begins to leak out of the turtle. The mutants prepare to finish the job, but their comms crackle and Karai orders them to return to the base. Come on, we're done here anyway. He ain't recovering, Bebop says as they turn to go. Honeycutt is still trying to stop the Technodrome when Raph comes flying past him, slamming into the nearby monitor, cracking it. Oh my, the robot gasps, and Krang stomps forward, prepared to cut through Honeycutt, but Leo is there, his twin blades blocking the assault. Raph leaps over his head, stabbing the sight into the robot armor brain, and Mikey leaps in, tripping the armored shell, bringing it to the floor. Fools! You delay the inevitable! Krang gasps at them. Dang, this dude doesn't stop! Mikey jokes. Back at the Foot Clan headquarters, Splinter is trying to reason with Karai, but her ninjas are now behind her. You believe that you can survive when I have reinforcements in route and all of your friends have abandoned you? She asks. But a blast hits one ninja and another one is dropped by an unseen force. Not all of his friends, Angel says from inside of her exosuit, stepping up next to Splinter. Behind them, Alopex growling as she drops another one. How? Splinter asks in confusion. Raph, he didn't trust Hob and asked us to keep an eye on you. Angel explains with Karai motioning forward, demanding that they finish the fight. But Splinter shakes his head, reminding her that this conflict isn't about the Foot Clan. This is what Shredder has turned the Foot Clan into. He has lost his way, yet in your eyes I see a desire for a return to the ways of the past. I hope for an honorable future, Splinter says, and Karai hesitates for a moment. But she throws a smoke bomb at the floor, disappearing. Angel's comms begin to crackle as a panicked voice comes over. It's Harold filling her ears. I need you at the lab immediately! Now! He shouts to her. Back on the beach, the armies are still fighting, but all of Krang's forces have begun to run as the Technodrome is activated. Bludgeon and Kuyo are trying to get to the body of Shredder, but the terraforming has already begun to take effect and they are dying. The Master is no more. We have failed. Bludgeon gasps as they look at Shredder. But as the mutant turns to escape, Bludgeon is leaping into the ocean as Kuyo flies away. Behind them, one of the Flyborgs arrive on the beach, lifting Shredder into the air and carrying him away. And it drops him onto a boat that is speeding from the island. Who? Shredder gasps as he comes to, looking up at Stockman at the helm. If the megalomaniac alien is stopped, your new partner, Stockman says with a smile. Back at the command center, Krang is struggling to his feet, and Leo leaps forward, kicking the sail, driving it through the armor and out the other side. Hey, talk about a foot in your mouth. Raph laughs, leaping down, grabbing a handful of mousers, stuffing them into the opening in Krang's armor and shocking it, causing the armor to finally fail. The three brothers move forward, all hitting Krang at once and bringing him down. Honeycutt turns to them as the Technodrome is shut down. Oh, it is done, my friends, he says, and Krang tries to pull himself from his armor, bellowing in rage. I thought I shut you up for good, Raph shouts. But Honeycutt stops him, explaining that there isn't time, that the terraforming of the island will eventually get into the command center and kill the turtles. He hits a few buttons, opening up the floor to reveal another teleporter. Krang is no longer of your concern. Goodbye, my friends, Honeycutt says as he activates it, and bright light fills the room and the turtles disappear with Krang snarling at the robot. My people! You've killed my people! He gasps, but Honeycutt shakes his head, informing Krang that the island was already terraformed. That Krang did create a new haven for his people. A place where they can survive and thrive. It will be, however, without you, General. You will not see your promised land. You have much to answer for, he says, activating the radio, sending word to Dimension X. 2 for transport. He's greeted in Dimension X, and the soldiers are already moving to take Krang to arrest him. But that's when the turtles step through the portal into Harold's lab, shocked by the destruction all around them. Oh, Raph. We didn't make it in time, Alopex says as she moves forward. The turtles turn in shock to see Donatello on the floor, Splinter cradling him. His shell cracked, blood pooled around him. I swear we tried to help him, Leo, but it was too late. Angel gasps, tears in her eyes. The family gathers around their fallen brother. My son, my poor, brave son, Splinter whispers through his tears. And there you have it, the death of Donatello. I hope you guys enjoyed this video for what it was, but stick around because we'll be continuing the Turtle storyline as we see the ramifications of the death of Donatello and what's going to happen with Shredder and Stockman and Krang and all of these characters. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit this video. Let me know your thoughts of them killing a turtle in the comments down below. And also, don't forget to check out our Patreon for early access to our videos, patreon.com/Comicstorian. Thank you, and I'll see you guys next time.